When Marcus was 47, he could barely get out of a chair without his knees screaming. He'd been a college athlete. He knew what hard work felt like. But somewhere between promotions, kids, and the decade he lost to a desk job, his body had quietly quit on him. He started working out again, 3 times a week, serious sessions, and it wrecked him. Not the good kind of wreck, the 4 days on the couch kind of wreck. His joints ached, his energy cratered. He thought the problem was effort. It wasn't. Marcus didn't have a work ethic problem. He had a recovery problem. And once he figured out the difference, everything changed. My name is Ed Slonsky. I'm the old personal trainer. I spent 30 years in this industry. I'm a military veteran. I have a degree in exercise science, and I also operate a health clinic focused on hormone optimization and peptide therapy. What I'm about to tell you won't go viral. You won't get a million likes, but if you're over 40 and your body isn't responding the way it used to, it might just change everything. Here's what nobody tells you when you turn 40. The rules change. When you're 22, you can sleep 5 hours, eat like garbage, skip recovery days, and still show up Monday feeling fine. Your body absorbs punishment like a sponge. Then one day, it doesn't. It's not a dramatic moment. There's no warning. You just notice that the soreness lasts longer. The energy doesn't come back the same way. The workouts that used to build you up start breaking you down instead. Think of your body like a construction crew. When you're young, that crew works around the clock. They demolish and they rebuild. They're fast. They're efficient. They don't need much sleep. After 40, the foreman starts calling for longer lunch breaks. The night shift disappears. Your crew is still working. They're just slower. And if you keep handing them the same brutal workload without giving them extra time and resources to finish the job, the building starts to fall apart. That's not weakness, that's biology. And this is exactly where peptides and hormone optimization enter the story. Not as shortcuts, not as magic, but as resources for the crew. Before we go any further, I need to say something clearly. I spent 30 years watching people look for the thing that would let them skip the work. The pill, the shot, the supplement, the secret. There is no secret. No peptide on earth outworks a bad lifestyle. Not one. So if you're thinking about any of this, write these things down first. 3 strength training sessions a week. Not 5, not 7, 3. Consistent, progressive, intentional. Walk every single day. This one change alone has extended more lives than almost anything in the research. It's boring. Do it anyway. Protein with every meal. Your muscles are literally made of this. If you're under eating protein, you're trying to build a house without lumber. 7 to 8 hours of sleep. This isn't a suggestion. Sleep is when your body does the actual rebuilding. Cut it short and you're canceling the construction crew halfway through the shift. Do those 4 things consistently and you've already beaten most people in the gym. Now let's talk about the tools. In 2019, a woman named Diana, 52 years old, retired teacher, walked into a clinic exactly like mine. She'd tried everything, low carb, intermittent fasting. She even did a Whole30 twice. She'd lose 8 pounds, gain 10 back, lose 6, gain 8. The problem wasn't discipline. Diana had more discipline than most people I've ever met. The problem was hunger. Not emotional eating, not boredom, not physiological relentless hunger that made every diet feel like white knuckling through a burning building. Here's what most people don't know. After 40, hormonal changes can make appetite regulation significantly harder. The signals your brain uses to tell you you're full, they get quieter. The signals that say you need more, they get louder. This is where GLP-1 based therapies have transformed what's possible for people over 40. Compounds like semaglutide and tirzepatide work primarily by helping the brain receive that fullness signal again. They don't melt fat, they don't replace your effort. What they do is turn down the noise. For someone carrying 50, 75, even 100 extra pounds, the kind that puts every step on a knife's edge for your knees, reducing that load changes what exercise is even possible. It changes what joints can tolerate. It changes what the morning after a workout feels like. Diana lost 44 pounds in 8 months. She didn't suffer through it. And for the first time in a decade, she started strength training because her knees finally allowed her. That's what this category is for. Not vanity, survivability. Let me tell you about the real reason people quit. Not motivation, not willpower, not even time. Pain. I've worked with thousands of people over 30 years, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, the number one reason people over 40 stop exercising is chronic pain. They were told to just live with it. The shoulder that got hurt in 2009 never fully came back. The knee that swells up after a long walk, the elbow that fires up the moment you pick up a weight. These aren't small things. These are the walls that stop people cold. And this is where regenerative peptides have quietly become one of the most interesting areas of sports medicine. BPC 157, short for body protection compound, has become one of the most discussed peptides in fitness and recovery circles for one reason. It may directly support the healing of tendons, ligaments, and muscle tissue at a cellular level. Think of it like sending a specialized repair crew to a specific address. Your body knows something is damaged. It wants to fix it. But after 40, the repair budget gets cut. BPC 157 in appropriate medical context may help restore that budget, specifically to the places where chronic injury has stalled. TB 500 works in a complementary way, often discussed alongside BPC 157, for its potential role in tissue, flexibility, mobility, and accelerating the body's natural repair process. Here's the key thing I want you to understand. These aren't painkillers. They don't mask anything. The goal, when used correctly with proper medical supervision, is actual repair, actual return to function. That shoulder that stopped you from lifting, it might not have to stop you forever. Marcus, the man I told you about at the start, had a torn rotator cuff for 3 years. Surgery wasn't something he wanted. He'd been told to avoid overhead pressing indefinitely. 6 months later, he was pressing again. I'm not telling you that's a guarantee. I'm telling you that's what the right tools in the right hands with the right foundation can look like. Here's something strange about getting older that nobody prepares you for. You can do everything right. Sleep, lift, eat well, manage stress, and still feel like the results are slipping through your fingers. Like the harder you work, the less you get back. This isn't imagination. It has a biological name. After 40, growth hormone production begins a long, slow decline. This hormone isn't just about muscle. It's about recovery, sleep quality, body composition, the efficiency of every repair system your body runs. Imagine a factory that's slowly reducing its power supply. The machines are still there. The workers are still there. But the lights keep getting dimmer. CJC 1295 and Ipamorelin are two peptides frequently used together in medically supervised protocols because they work through different but complementary pathways to stimulate the body's own growth hormone production, not replacing it, not overriding it, encouraging it. People working with these compounds under proper medical care often report meaningful improvements in sleep depth and quality, recovery time between workouts, body composition, particularly that stubborn midsection, and general energy and sense of vitality. Tesamorelin is another compound frequently discussed in this space, particularly around abdominal fat reduction and metabolic health for people experiencing age-related hormonal decline. Now, I have to say this plainly. These are not weekend supplements. They're not something you order off a website and figure out yourself. The people who benefit from these compounds are working with qualified medical professionals, getting their blood work done, and following individualized protocols. The people who get hurt are the ones who skip that part. I've seen both. I know which outcome I want for you. Sometimes a person comes into my clinic and everything is in order. They're doing the work, they're eating right, they're sleeping, they're using tools responsibly, and they still feel like they're swimming through concrete. That's when we look at the hormones. Not peptides, not supplements, the actual hormonal foundation that your body runs on. For men, this is often testosterone. For women, it often involves estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and more complex picture, but no less important. When these levels decline, and they do decline with age, the symptoms don't always announce themselves dramatically. They creep. You don't notice the day they start. You just gradually become a quieter, more tired, less motivated version of yourself. And you assume that's just what aging feels like. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's a deficiency that's very treatable. This is why testing matters more than anything else I've said today. Not a guess, not a YouTube video, including this one, not a friend's recommendation. Real lab work, a real physician, a real conversation about your real numbers. Because the goal here isn't to become 25 again. Nobody wants that. Well, maybe. The goal is to become the best version of yourself at the age you are actually in. That's a goal worth pursuing. And the tools to pursue it have never been more sophisticated or more accessible. I've been in this industry for 30 years. I've worked with elite athletes, special forces operators, weekend warriors, and people who couldn't walk to the mailbox without stopping to catch their breath. And I'll tell you the thing I know to be true with absolute certainty. The people who win aren't the ones who go the hardest. They're the ones who stay in the game. The athlete who overtrained and blew out his knee, he's not winning. The person who found a sustainable pace, protected their joints, supported their recovery, and showed up for 10 consecutive years, they're winning. Peptides don't give you that. Hormones don't give you that. A brilliant protocol designed by the best physician in the country doesn't give you that. You give you that. With consistency, with patience, with the humility to build a foundation before you reach for the tools. But when you've got the foundation, when the work ethic is there and the lifestyle is solid and you're still hitting a wall, there are resources now that didn't exist even a decade ago. Legitimate medical supervised evidence-informed tools that can help your body do what your work ethic is asking of. You don't have to white knuckle it. You don't have to accept that the best years of your physical life are behind you. Start simple. Walk. Lift 3 days a week. Eat your protein. Sleep. Then come talk to us. Your comeback doesn't start when everything is perfect. It starts today, right where you are. I'm Ed Slonsky, the old personal trainer. If you found any of this useful, hit subscribe and stick around. There's a lot more where this came from. And if you want to explore what a personalized approach might look like for you, the link is in the description. Just click on my website. No pressure, just information. Always wishing you the best on your fitness journey. See you in the next video.